my dear class 10 students, welcome back to Diksha Vedantu. As you can see, the chapter for today is Forest and Wildlife Resources from your geography book. Yes, we have completed the first chapter, that is development. Alongside, we have completed some chapters from civics, that is power sharing, federalism, chapter nationalism in India and Europe in history, and we have completed chapter development from economics. So, in this sequence of chapters, the next one is forest and wildlife from geography. Look, this chapter is very interesting because it is small chapter, and I know my dear students love to read the chapter which is small, but it has a huge weightage. So there are some definite questions going to come from this chapter, and we are going to deal all of them by this video. What you need to do is you need to be connected with Diksha Vedantu, because my dear students, I know that some of them have not yet subscribed the YouTube channel. Do you know we have multiple channels on YouTube, right? Particularly dealing in other aspect, but this one is made only for my dear class 10 students, and this is the result of 27 years of excellence in education sector. So this is for your benefit, because we have uploaded one-shot explanation, revision sessions, we have various strategic videos that will definitely help you out throughout your class 10 journey. We are with you now. You need to be with us by subscribing this YouTube channel. Hit the button right now. Moving to the chapter, we will start the chapter with a quote of Gautam Buddha. Right? Gautam Buddha, the propounder of Buddhism, a new ideology to the world which talk about non-violence in its respect, right? As the chapter is forest and wildlife, we know that what is the role of forest and wildlife in humans' life? Right? Definitely, we are interdependent on each other, but the ratio of dependence by humans on the forest and wildlife is quite more. We need to accept the fact that, right? Many years ago, Gautam Buddha has cleared out to that the tree is a peculiar organism of unlimited kindness and benevolence. We as humans are not showing any kindness to them, but they are having benevolence, kindness, immense in nature, unlimited in nature, and that too they don't make any demand for a sustenance and extends generously the product of its life activity. They are giving everything to us generously, right, without demanding anything from us. It affords protection to all living beings, offering shade even to the examine who destroy it. Yes. So basically in this chapter, we are going to talk about how we have destroyed the forest and wildlife, what is the need to conserve the same, and what are the steps taken to conserve the same. Did you get my point? Okay. Moving further with forest and wildlife, I want to tell you that by our previous classes, we have already learned about the topics like environment, right? Everything that is in our surrounding and just to satisfy our need. Basically, everything in our surrounding is our environment, right? Everything in our environment is interdependent on each other. It forms an ecological system, okay? And that ecological system has a biodiversity. Now, when we talk about biodiversity, it is something that has life. Right? In terms of the word diversity, they want you to understand that there are humans, plants, animals, microorganisms, bacteria, algae, lichens, many more in this diverse biolife. Right? And all have a nature to be dependent on each other, because no one's life is possible without the other. That is very much clear to us. And this is what creates biodiversity or biological diversity. So what it is immensely rich in wildlife and cultivative species, diverse in form and functions, but closely integrated. Again, they are integrated in a system through multiple networks of interdependence. Yes, we are dependent on each other. But as humans grow over the time, right? So this interdependence, we just made a greedy nature to exploit them. Right? This indiscriminate use of our forest and wildlife has made an injustice to its species. As a result, we have lost many of them. Here we are talking about India, and we know that there are many species in India yet to be discovered, or there are some of them we have lost it in the past and we are not aware about the species. Still after that, India is a nation which has vast array of biological diversity and is considered as world richest country in terms of biodiversity. Did you get the point? So after this richness, there was a need to conserve the same, because this indiscriminate nature and the greedy nature of ours led to its degraded form. Get my point? So India being a colonial nation from a long time, everything was in the hands of British government. They somewhere protected it and many were degraded it for their commercial purpose, right? So we are going to talk about in this chapter after independence and what is the role of governments in protecting the same. Did you get this point? Talking with the first and the very important topic of our chapter, that is steps taken by the government to conserve forest and wildlife in India. Okay, so by the time India got independent, at that time the situation was such that we just had the partition of the country. Okay, so the target of our nation was to end the hunger of the poor people, right, to boost the economy. Somewhere we have lost the interest to protect, to conserve this. And this is the reason many what we can say conservationists raise their voice that there is a huge need to do that, and various steps are taken by the government itself. So the first very important question from this topic, yes, this is for 5 marks. Okay, the question will come such that what are the steps taken? Again, what are the steps taken by the government to conserve the forest and wildlife in India? Step number 1, right? Particularly between the year of 1960s and 1970s, various conservationists raised their voice and they talk about the interest to protect the wildlife and forest. You get the point? Because in India, there was illegal hunting practiced, poaching practiced, and illegal trade was done. Particularly if we talk about skin of animals being traded for medicinal purpose or for certain products being made, leather. Okay, then we can see teeth of the animals, like if we see about ivory products made from the teeth of elephants, right? So that illegal trade, hunting, poaching led to a decline, due to which this conservationists demanded a nation wildlife program. Okay, they demanded that the program should be in such a manner that it provides legal protection to the animals and legal protection to the forest. Okay, in response to that, the government has passed an act. Okay. The act is Indian Wildlife Protection Act, implemented in the year 1972 with various provisions of protecting the habitats. Provisions like to ban the illegal trade, okay, to prohibit hunting, poaching, etc. So the Indian Wildlife Protection Act, very important, mark it for MCQ also, passed in the year 1972. After various provisions was made, the central government and state government, right, mark it, central government and state government establish various national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in India. Right now India has more than 100 national parks, right? So it started from that time that various national parks and wildlife sanctuaries area was declared protected. Right, in that area the habitats were being kept protected so that no one can hunt them, poach them, kill them or illegally trade them. Getting my point? So this was the third step taken. The central government also announced several projects for protecting specific animals. Now see, through this Indian Wildlife Protection Act, the government has prepared a list of animals. Okay, the list of animals which were already being extinct, that means ended and no longer in the environment, okay, or they have made the list of the animals which are in the what we can say danger of being extinct. They will end if this hunting, poaching continues. Or there are animals whose strength is being declining in number, that means vulnerable species. So they have prepared a list of that, and conservation according to that was decided. When they see that there are several species that need immediate and special attention, they have started or announced several projects in that respect. And that projects were like Project Tiger, Okay, one-horned rhinoceros, project for that. Project Kashmir stag, that is referred as Hangul, Indian bustard, Indian elephant, and many more, wild ass, etc. So certain projects were started by the government. Next point is, now there was a need to increase the species, because you know that like there are multiple species and to recognize them in one single point is difficult. So by the time of 1980 and 1986, they have amended the act. What they have done? They have amended the act, and several hundred of butterfly, moth, beetles, one dragonfly been added to the list of this protected species. And very interesting, by the year 1991, okay, by the year 1991 we have added one more thing, that was plant, and this was done for the very first time. We have completed this 5 marker. We are going to revise it in few seconds. Just pause the video after the revision so that you can also write and remember the points. So question is, what are the steps taken by the government to conserve the forest and wildlife in India? Question point number 1. Between 1960s to 1970s, various conservationists demanded for National Wildlife Protection Program. Okay. 2. In response to, they take it as a story. In response to this, Indian Wildlife Protection Act was implemented by the government in the year 1972. Okay. In this, the state government and central government has established various national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. After that, they have listed some protected species and made a project to protect them. For example, Project Tiger, one-horned rhino, Project Kashmir stag, etc. Okay, by the years of 1980 and 1986, this Wildlife Protection Act was amended. More species were added into it, like butterflies, dragonfly, moth, beetles, etc. And then last, very important, in the year 1991, for the very first time, plants were added. Hope you have just revised it. Tap to the pause button in the video, recall it by saying all the points, write it in your copy, and you are done with this answer. Because I want that after this video, you need not to open your book, not to open your notes. You should be reminded everything on your fingertips. Okay, so promise that to me that you are following me throughout the video, because this is going to be very interesting. Moving further with the next topic, that is Project Tiger. After this conservation topic in your book, look, some of the topics have been excluded from your book because it is not the part of syllabus now. Okay, so after that conservation wala part, we have one box in your book talking about the Project Tiger. Okay, question can come from this topic, we won't leave it, right? Don't think that this is in a box, then we should leave it. No. So talking about Project Tiger, it was started in the year 1973. Okay, realizing that within a century, like within this 100 years, we have lost so many tigers. The strength went down from 55,000 to 1827, and that was very disheartening. Right, the population dwindled from 55,000 to 1827. Merely we have left after a century, and the reason for this was a threat because of numerous activities such as hunting, poaching for trade. The shrinking habitat population is increasing in numerous number. Right, increasing, and we have seen that the cutting of forests result into their habitat, end of the habitat. Okay, depletion of prey-based species, growing human population, etc. Not only this, the trade of tiger skin has a major role, okay, in reducing their number, as the use of bones in traditional medicine, especially in Asian countries. So, I want to tell you that particularly the population of tiger was mainly in India and Nepal. And India and Nepal are linked with various traditional beliefs about the bones of tiger to be used in medicinal purpose, etc. Because of which the tiger went into the verge of extinction. We were seeing that they will get extincted if such activities continue to exist. Okay, getting my point? So this is the reason we have started Project Tiger. I want to add one point here, which by mistake was added by me. in the next slide, I'll tell you that various tiger reserves were made for that purpose. What they have done, already existing national parks and wildlife sanctuaries were converted in tiger reserve if that area has tiger population, or we can like bring tigers to protect there. Okay, or some new tiger reserves habitat was made for tiger protection. Particularly if we talk about, it was in Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. Okay, do you guys know, it is very interesting that Jim Corbett is the first national park of India. It is the first wildlife sanctuary in India, and it is the first tiger reserve in India, and it is in Uttarakhand. Okay, then it was Saraska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, Periyar in Kerala, Manas in Assam, and many more in the list. And right now, by today, we have 58 tiger reserves in the country, and if more numbers are added, I am not aware about it. The last what I read was 58 tiger reserves. Getting the point? So this is how special projects were launched here. Okay, not only tiger, there were projects for many other animals we discussed right now. Okay, so this was the steps taken by the government. Among that, the special project have very relevant point here. Moving further with the types and distribution of forest and wildlife in India. Now the point that comes in our mind, after independence, it was the role of which particular department to administer the forest and wildlife. Okay, now what happened, this forest and wildlife particularly is a national resource. It is what? A national resource needed to be protected by the government of India. Okay, so government of India has created a separate department, that is forest department, which has the responsibility to manage and administer it. Okay, which has left with the administration responsibilities over it. Now to administer such a large forest where we have trees of so much relevance and needed to be protected, where we have trees that are grown everywhere and need not to be protected in such a manner, to end that stress, we have classified the forest into 3 types. We have distributed it into 3 types. Okay. So the first one is, it is considered as reserved forest. Look at it, it is reserved forest. Okay, more than half of the forest, is declared as reserved forest. It is declared as reserve forest. Among total forest area, more than half is referred as reserve forest. Like you might be going to a show and you can see in front some of the chairs are reserved. What does it mean? That reserved chairs you are not to go and sit. Similarly, here is a forest and this is the reserved forest area. Okay, this is the reserved forest area. Now you can understand that the human activities like grazing, hunting, or what we can say deforestation activities, that are not allowed in that region and it is prohibited totally. Get the point? So this region is considered as reserve forest. The strictness is more in the reserve forest in comparison to the next one, that is protected forest. Okay, getting the point? Now 1/3 of the total forest area comes under this list of protected forest. There are certain restrictions regarding the human activities and the interference of local communities in this area, but the strictness in comparison to reserve are less. Get the point? They are protected for the purpose of conservation in future, as well as the use by the government too. Okay, and the last but not the least, that is unclassed forest. The remaining one, that is not either reserved or protected. Either they are wetlands or wastelands or many other forest area. Okay, they are referred as unclassed forest. We can say that rest of the forest other than reserved or protected. This is considered to be as unclassed forest. Right? Did you get the point? Now, let us talk about the distribution in depth, because you know that we have discussed it in our last chapter, that the forest department says that 33% of the Okay, 33% of the total area within a country should come under the forest reserves. Okay, but do you remember how much percentage we do have as a forest reserve or forest area? I told that in the last lecture. I just want you to write in the comment section how much percentage India holds in the forest reserve, and I know that it is not 33%, which is a criteria to be fulfilled. Okay, we are less than that. But if we compare all the states within the country, Madhya Pradesh has the highest forest reserve, and that too, Madhya Pradesh has the largest area under permanent forest, constituting 75% of its total forest area. Okay, of its total forest area, 75% are referred as permanent forest. That means categorized as reserved and protected. Getting my point? Other than that, we can have a look that Jammu Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Maharashtra have large percentage of reserved forest. Look, I know that it's very difficult to learn so many states in a single time, but what we can do at this time when we are reading geography, either keep a map alongside, mark it right away, or you can do the second thing, just imagine the map in your mind. Like when we are reading this, okay, so Jammu Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Okay, all these have reserve forests. So remember it likewise. Okay, when you visualize the things then you can remember it. Moving further, Bihar, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal, Odisha, Rajasthan. These areas have bulk of protected forest. Okay, yes, this can come as MCQs. So just keep it in mind. Then we will move to all the northeastern states, extreme east and extreme west. All the northeastern states and parts of Gujarat are unclassed forests because do you know they are majorly managed by the local communities. Okay, they are majorly managed by the local communities living over there. And yes, this was the point I need to add in the previous slide, that is about the names of tiger reserve. Names of tiger reserve, we have studied it. You can read it once, like Uttarakhand mein Jim Corbett, Sundarbans in West Bengal, Bandhavgarh in Madhya Pradesh, Saraska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan, Manas is in Assam, Periyar in Kerala. Get my point? Okay, have a reading of this point so that you can understand which forest area is majorly found in which Indian state. Okay, moving further, with the role of community and conservation, like I want to tell you that Indian society and Indian culture and traditions are made in such a way that we worship our natural elements, right? Either it be rivers, either it be animals, either it be plants, or we can see that either it be forest area, mountains, rivers, various things in our nature, because our ancestors, right? Ancestor has taught us the importance of them. Like considering them as a god right now, right? They are teaching us the relevance of nature. Understand my point. It is not superstitions, right? It is not the practice of just applying chandan and something on the tree and just moving on. It is about protecting them, right? The concept that sustainability exists, right? The sustainable development to protect the nature so that it can be used for future generation is in the essence of Indian tradition since time immemorial. This is what I want to tell you, that every festival of India somewhere linked to either animal or plant. See, is it? Yes. Or they are regarding the crops, harvested crops or growing season of crops. So yes, we in our tradition, we in our essence have that, right? And similarly, there is the role of communities and the conservation. I want to tell you that the tribal population in particular always lived in this region of forest. And they considered that forest as what we can say pristine. Pristine, that means not like left untouched by the communities, so that we can save them from degradation. They considered them as homeland. Okay, so the question what comes from this topic is, what is the role of community and conservation? in conservation of forest and wildlife. So let us start discussing it. The first community that has a role is particularly from Saraska Tiger Reserve, that is in Rajasthan. Look, in Saraska Tiger Reserve, what has happened? Government has sent certain officials to start cutting of forest because of mining activities. Now, cutting of forest does not affect the forest itself, it affects the wildlife which consider it as a habitat and the human beings living around. So these people of Saraska Tiger Reserve, the villagers, the inhabitants living there, stood against that point, citing that you government has passed a Wildlife Protection Act and we will not allow you to just bother our homeland for your need. Getting my point? This was very important step taken by people of Saraska Tiger Reserve, that citing their Wildlife Protection Act, they have fought even against the civic authorities, the government itself. Okay, the same role was played in Alwar district of Rajasthan. See, the next one is Alwar district of Rajasthan. A very great work done by the people over here. The inhabitants have declared 1200 hectares of forest. Right? The inhabitants have declared 1200 hectares of forest as Bhairav Dev Dakav Sanctuary. They themselves has declared it as a sanctuary and made a certain set of rules and regulations to be followed by everyone. Right? That was against hunting, poaching, illegal trade, etc. So they said that we do not want government intervention to protect our forest. We ourselves will make our rules and regulations, and they have followed in such a manner that this 1200 hectares of forest and wildlife was preserved very nicely. Okay, so yes, here community has a role. The next one, Chipko movement, which you have been studying since childhood. Right? The Chipko movement we have seen in our chapters. Look at this picture, how a woman is like attached to a forest, right? Hugging a forest, that this person is this person is trying to deforestate the area. And the woman said that if you want to cut the forest, cut our bodies first. This was Chipko movement, and we have studied it earlier. I want you to comment down the personality linked with Chipko movement. Very famous personality. Just comment it down. I know you know that. Okay. So it has successfully resisted, not only successfully resisted deforestation, but that community has worked very much in afforestation as well. Right? Not to save only existing forest, rather to grow more. And this was done by a community which have an enormous successful activity. Next one in the list, that is Beej Bachao Andolan. Yes, Beej Bachao Andolan, the word itself says that we are talking about seeds, okay, for crop production. So this was practiced in the district of Tehri. This is in Uttarakhand. This is in Uttarakhand. And the second one, Navadanya. Okay, here what was done? The people has made diversified crop production. Now, whenever this diversified crop production comes in our mind, we think either it may be chemically done or genetically modified, but none of the practice. Genetically modified, but that in natural process. Okay, no synthetic chemicals were used in this process, and the result was economically viable for the society. This was very good step taken by the community. And the last but not the least, that is sacred groves. Look, whenever you go to the book, you will see this 4 bold topics, but this question always comes for 5 marks, that what is the role of community in the conservation of forest and wildlife. Below this 4 point, you will see a box talking about sacred groves. We are going to talk about that in detail. But we added a point here that in Indian society there are several cultures which protect forest, animals, considering them as a matter of worship, considering them as sacred, divine, pristine. Virgin forest not to be touched by anyone, not to be deforested. Getting my point? Like there is a community, Bishnoi community. In the village of Rajasthan, they worship blackbuck, chinkaras, Nilgai, peacock, etc. There are communities in tribal areas like Santhal and Mundas. They worship mahua plant. Getting my point? So you can add that here. Just a revision, quick revision of this question. 5 marker, 5 points in just a minute. What is role of community and conservation? The first you will talk about Sariska Tiger Reserve. Second about Alwar district. Third about Chipko movement. Fourth about Beach Bachao Andolan. And fifth, that is Sacred Groves. Done with this? Pause the video, learn it right now and write it in your notebook. This is to be done right away. Okay? Moving to the next topic, that is sacred groves. Look, again I'll discuss about this point. Like if we go back to history, either it's Vedic civilization or it is Indus Valley civilization, the early years when worship started, they considered God in the form of nature, like Indra for what we can say, rainfall, protector. Okay, we considered Varun for rainfall, God, Bhagwan Varun. Okay, we considered Gau Mata, cow, to protect it basically. So every element of nature was linked with our religious belief, because we know that we will never dishonor the religious beliefs. Okay, so our ancestors very smartly and scientifically has given us a way to worship the nature, to protect it for future generation. That is the reason we call them sacred groves. So nature worship is an age-old tradition belief that is based on the premise that all the creation of natures need to be protected. Okay. In that respect, we have reserved a certain forest which are being left untouched by the society, and they are considered as virgin forest in pristine form, referred as sacred groves. Okay. Moving further with certain communities who are doing that. Again, listen, this is a very important MCQ. Okay, MCQ will come and you will get somewhere confused in that, because the names are such that, like Mundas and Santhals of Chota Nagpur region, a tribal community in particular, worship Mahua and Kadamba tree. Okay, Kadamba tree and Mahua is worshipped here. Question will come, in the Chota Nagpur region, the Mundas and Santhal worship which among the following? They will give you some options. Okay, so remember it's Mahua and Kadamba, whereas the tribals living in Odisha and Bihar worship the tamarind, and add one more thing here, that is mango. Okay, so they worship tamarind and mango in the region of Bihar and Odisha. Not yet done, there are troops of macaws and langurs we see in the premises of the temple. People worship them, people offer them food, people offer them bananas and many more fruits such that. Now see, they are somewhere by this activity, they are fed daily. Okay, if they will feed daily, they will be healthy, taken care by the temple authorities as well. So this is a way we are protecting the species. Getting the point? So troops of macaws and langurs around the temple. Along with that, there are Bishnoi village. There is a Bishnoi village in Rajasthan where herds of black buck. Yes, the same one crashed by a car. So herds of black buck, chinkara, nilgai and peacock can be seen as the integral part of the society. And this is how having sacred grove is very, very important. Got my point? Moving further with last topic, I'm very happy teaching this chapter because it is very short. Okay, and there are some points to be focused for examination purpose, and we have discussed this. The last one is joint forest management. Now see, the joint word itself tell us the meaning. Joint forest management. Okay. Now tell me, who is responsible for the forest management? I told you in the starting of the lecture that it is the forest department. Okay. In this management, someone is joining them. Okay. Someone is joining them, and that someone is local community. That someone is local community. Look, basically the work of this forest department is to manage the forest, okay, protect them from illegal activities, hunting, poaching, etc., And the last and the very important, restore the one that is degraded. Restore the one that is degraded. But you know that such a large forest where tribals, local communities are living, they have direct connection with their homeland, that is forest, right? They can play a vital role to help the forest department here. Okay, and citing this very important step was taken by a state of India, that is joint forest management. It is very good example when a local community and government came together for the management and restoration of forest. Okay, management and restoration of degraded forest particularly. So it was started in the year 1988. Okay, it was started in the year 1988 by the state of Odisha. Which passed the first resolution where both of them will come together, manage and restore. Look how it was done, right? We will see about that. In this joint forest management, they will form a local institution, like this is forest. Okay, many people are living in this forest area. They will form a institution that will be referred as local institution. Okay, in this local institution, this forest department and they will come together. They will work together and restore the forest that is being degraded. Okay, and manage the whole land together. But talking about local communities, we know that they need what? If they can work, but they need economic support as well, right? This community not socially, economically, politically very much developed. If they are giving their best to protect, they will want something, right? In return, they are promised, or they are entitled, not promised, they are entitled with some intermediary benefits other than timber. Okay, timber we need to protect. Nah? So other than timber, there are various products produced in forest like rubber, etc. Okay, the communities will get that benefit. They can strengthen their economy by the help of them. Okay. And if they have successfully protected or restored the degraded forest, they will even get the timber products. This was promised by forest government. So now look, the local community got the work, they got the economy, and forest department got the people who considered that forest as homeland. Because when we have a sense of belonging to the region, now we work for them effectively. And this is very good example how our government and the local people can come together to restore it. Again, talking about the relevance of this topic in your exam, yes, question will come, write a short note on JFM or joint forest management. It can come for 3 mark, it can come for 5 mark as well. You need to just write all these points. Getting my point? Moving further with the very important activity of my lectures, that is question bank. Yes. So this is the favorite part because I want you to practice more. Beta, look, this is only strategy in social studies. I know that some of you consider it as a subject that we study at last instance, but if you need to score 100 on 100% or 80 on 80 marks, you need to practice it from today. Okay. So talking about the important questions from this chapter, what are the steps taken by Government of India for the conservation of forest and wildlife? This is the first topic what we have completed. Okay. Next is write a short note on Project Tiger, 1973. Then talk about what affected the strength of forest, like what were the threat to, not forest, tiger. And what are the work done by the government. Third, what is role of communities in the conservation of forest and wildlife? Important question, 5 points I have given. Write a short note on JFM, we did it right away. Forests play a key role in the ecological system, highlight the value of forest in our life. So this, I don't think that I need to tell you, right? You just need to write the importance of forest in our life, human life. Note it down, make 5 points, you're good to go. Classify the types of forest found in India and explain them. So this is about reserved, protected, unclassed, and give a small explanation to them. Consider it as a 3 marker question. Okay. Nature worship is an age-old tradition belief that has preserved certain virgin forest in pristine form called sacred groves. Comment on the statement with the help of example. So what you can use as example, the mahua, kadamba, mango, tamarind by the communities like tribals of Odisha, okay, or we can talk about Santhals, Mundans, etc. Mundas. Then you can go with the blackbird, peacock, nilgai by Bishnoi community living in Rajasthan. So use these examples and a good intro. You can choose it from my lecture or you can choose it from NCERT's. And this is how we have completed the chapter. Before ending, I want to tell you that what are the topics we covered here. Okay. So we started particularly with biodiversity. Okay. Biodiversity as an introduction. Then we moved with steps taken by government for conservation. Oh, okay, starting that again, I'm going to tell you. We have studied, okay, starting that again, no issues. We have completed biodiversity. Then we moved with role of government. Now this time I'm writing in short. I don't want to spoil it again. Role of government in conservation of forest and wildlife. Steps taken by government particularly. Then we moved with community and conservation. Okay, community and conservation, where we talk about the role of communities in the conservation of forest and wildlife. Okay, the 5 marker question. Then with the important one, that is sacred groves. I forget one, that is Project Tiger. Started in the year 1973 after the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Ended this one with our topic, that is JFM, Joint Forest Management. Okay, whenever I give you a list of the topics we studied, just remember in mind, are you getting all the topics or not? If not, watch it once again so that everything should be crystal clear in your mind. Okay, so hope this chapter is completed from my side for your examination, and I just hope that you practice all the questions that I gave in the end of the chapter. Wishes from my side for your preparation. If you need any support, we Diksha Vedantu are here for you. Okay, if not subscribe the YouTube channel now, subscribe the hit button, because you came at the end of the video and I think you enjoyed it. So for more such notifications of lectures, one-shot explanation, revisions and many more in the list, you just need to hit the subscribe button. Stay connected with us because we are going to be the part of your journey. Thank you.